G'day everyone, and welcome back to another adventure with Brother Nature. Today I'd love it if you were to explore something a little bit different with me. It's actually one of my favourite childhood hobbies, and that is searching the low tide flats for all sorts of cool creepy crawlies. So we're up in the Iron Range, a region famous for its birding and reptiles, but besides that there's still so much more on offer. There's all the marine life found along the coastline, surrounding islands, and of course the Great Barrier Reef, which is not at all far off the coast. For those of you interested in visiting the area, if it's at all possible for you to bring the boat, you'll find there's a wealth of stunning spots to explore. It's all here. I assure you it'd be well worth it. You'd have the time of your life, with some absolutely extraordinary fishing and diving too. Okay, so I'd like to introduce you all to Portland Roads, which happens to have an area cresting a reef ideal for what I like to refer to as picking. An activity great for all ages, which is simply looking under dead coral and rocks and amongst the tide pools for a wealth of awesome wildlife. Okay, I'll go ahead and get started on our adventure together, but there's a few things I need to mention. That's to be prepared with not just the obvious things like hat, sunscreen, appropriate footwear and water, but also you want to start by checking your local tide timetables. Ideally you want a low tide under a half metre or less, but also don't be fooled for thinking that this is just a daytime activity. If anything, it's even better at night because so many of the really unique cool critters only come out at night for fear of being predated on during the day. I know there's a lot to consider, but low winds really do help out too. Sometimes you don't get all the stars aligned, but we happen to go anyway. The last things I need to mention is to only definitely flip dead coral. We need to protect the marine environment we're exploring. Sometimes to have a little net and bucket for the kids is pretty handy, and to be mindful that a lot of the marine organisms are venomous and can sting, so someone with some gloves is pretty smart, particularly when starting off. Now it's a little bit windy and the tide's not a particularly low one, but when you get a low tide below a half metre, all this area here is exposed. You can walk through all the shallow water and you'll get all sorts of cool creepy crawlies, cephalopods and lots of interesting things, particularly at night. However, this is croc country and there are some impressive crocs that patrol this reef ledge just along here. On the low tide, as the water recedes out, the fish are pushed out through little channels in the coral, all staggered along the reef ledge here, and the crocs just sit in ambush with their mouth open, and as the fish fly through they'll just poof. And if you're out here at night you'll get the eye shine, and you'll even be fortunate enough to hear that. It's a pretty cool thing to witness. Unfortunately we couldn't get it on camera as much as we tried. The crocs are actually pretty shy out here because the locals do obviously try and fend them away from this rather populated area. Okay, so what I found is an absolutely cracking pair of peacock-tailed anemone shrimp living in this rather prostrate carpet anemone, very similar to that to which you'd be accustomed to seeing the clownfish, Nemo living in. And just in a moment you may well notice as I encourage the shrimp up, the anemone actually clings onto my fingertip. They do and can sting. Thankfully I'm thick skinned, so it's of no concern to me. But I just wanted to demonstrate, that these beautiful peacock shrimp will only be found in these anemones. They don't live anywhere else. They have a very special commensal relationship. That means that the host, being the anemone, has no benefit from them being there, but it's vital for the shrimp to have the protection of the anemone itself. However, unlike the anemone fishes, she can't produce that beneficial enzyme on her skin that allows the anemone fishes to sort of become one with the anemone. Therefore, you won't find that they live in amongst the tentacles. She'll be discreetly hidden in underneath the mantle, in the shade where they graze on the algae on the surrounding rocks. As keen naturalists, we're constantly on the hunt for new species, and this is the very reason here. Just look at the extraordinary beauty of this black-saddled snake eel, a group of eels I'm particularly fond of because they have a pretty cool adaptation. That's these tubular nostrils. They're sort of backward facing with a valve in them because they spend their life burrowed and hidden in sand and also chasing their prey down tunnels where that sand would get loaded up in their nostrils if they weren't to have this special valve. Another pretty fancy attribute they have, like fish, is the lateral line running the length of their bodies, a special organ containing cells that can detect minute changes in water movement, vibration and even pressure. This is particularly handy for them to be able to find and chase down their prey when conditions are bad with no light or really bad water visibility. And it's the reason why they've been able to thrive in every type of aquatic environment. The lateral line even allows them to detect the Earth's magnetic fields, meaning they can navigate anywhere they want, whether that's the darkest depths of the abyssal oceans or back to the same rivers they spawned in. So this cool little curiosity is a juvenile circular spadefish. Doing the best job he can, imitating a dead mangrove leaf. It's a bit of a shame they don't stay like this though. All these spadefishes have a tendency to grow up into a less attractive fish than when they're juveniles, as you'll see from this pinnate spadefish.
Upside down jellyfish, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Side farms algae. Oh, beautiful.
Is that an octopus?
Uh-huh.
I missed that you said something about it. I just saw him now.
The cephalopods are just utterly amazing, truly fascinating creatures with so many cool attributes and interesting things about them. They'll layer quite a bit throughout this episode, so as we meet them, I'll give you all the reasons I just find them so brilliant.
Okay.
So, the rice stalks there.
Okay.
Move this bit for you.
Oh, and the next bit. He's gone in his hole. Got his hole. Yeah?
No, he's just here in front of me.
Oh, okay.
He'll be probing down in there, right? So he's testing me.
Yeah.
What are you, alien creature? In my habitat. Look at that. Aren't they gorgeous? I love the cephalopods. Look at this. Look at that. Oh, here she comes. She's going to eat you.
Oi, hi. Aww.
You're going to bite me, you little bugger.
He's good.
They're so inquisitive. They're so intelligent. Too bad. Hey, come check this out. I've got this beautiful little epaulet shark under this ledge here. So the cool thing about these little sharks is they really love this shallow cresting reef.
Oh,
But particularly at night, they can walk through only an inch of water. They use their little side petrel fins. Now he's in the shade there, so it's a bit hard for you to see, but I'll just gently try and tease him out. Here's his tail here, if you can see.
Yeah. Check this out.
You're not a big fan of coming out in the sunshine. Epaulet sharks belong to a group referred to as the walking sharks, and it's because of these pectoral and pelvic fins that you can see out the side here. It's allowed them at an evolutionary level to take up a bit of a niche, and that is hunting in this shallow cresting reef habitat where other sharks don't dare go for fear of being trapped and drowning. Those fins have enabled them to walk out over the reef, in amongst the pools and around this habitat incredibly well. As long as their gills remain damp, they're able to breathe out of water for incredible periods of time as well. But as cool as that is, it actually has come at a cost. Because they're in that low water environment, they're restricted to hunting small prey, and that has restricted their overall size. Look at this. This is an absolute splendid, highly decorated brittle star. Now, they're not fans of being exposed at daylight as they're highly nocturnal, but this is basically a very mobile, fast-moving type of starfish. Found him under this beautiful lump of rock, but there's also quite a nice pair of cleaner shrimp.
This is beautiful.
Yeah, they can move surprisingly quite fast as well. She's gonna.
It looks like, she gets in the kind of camouflaging the armida there.
I'm just going to tilt this back a bit to try and expose.
Okay, I can move this.
Where are these cleaner shrimp? Here we go.
Away.
So when we're diving, we can actually take the regulators out our mouths, and these guys will crawl. This is the female on my right, your left, and the smaller, less heavily built. Oh, actually, she's gravid. She's full of eggs. You can see that green hue underneath her abdomen there. So we're going to be super careful to put this bit of coral over delicately. But yeah, look at the back of the abdomen there. She's got what we call berries. She's buried up with eggs.
Oh, wow.
They're very, very pretty. That's a very good pair of specimens, I guess you'd say.
So they're in charge of cleaning certain species.
So they have a cool relationship with all the fish in the surrounding area. There's a agreement that the fish don't eat them, but these guys will come, work through the gills and the mouth and the teeth and remove all the parasites off the fish. So the fish will make a periodic pit stop, just like we would to fill up the car. They will come in and have a cleaning service from these guys.
Symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, very, very cool.
All right.
Yeah.
She
doesn't want to leave now.
No. She's like, oh. All right. See you guys. See you on the flip side. Yeah. Look at this thing. Oh. I love it.
It doesn't matter where in the world you take a walk on the reef flats, but it's pretty safe to say you're more than likely to encounter a wide variety of sea cucumbers. I certainly know here on the coast of Queensland you'll actually have a really hard time avoiding them. They're so prolific it's easy just to disregard them, but that's why I'd like to take a moment to talk about them. They're really special little creatures that deserve more respect from us. And the reason I say that is because sea cucumbers are the vacuum cleaners of the marine world, playing an absolutely vital part in the health and well-being of every body of water, ranging from our river mouths right through to the deepest points in the Mariana Trench. They're very simple creatures, taking particles in one end, processing out the waste and leaving clean, healthy substrate behind them. Globally, there's over 1,200 identified species, with more being found virtually every time a remote ROV surveys the seafloor. Sea cucumbers are very slow moving, so they can't move with the tides. Therefore, you'll find them taking refuge under just about every single piece of material you lift. They may at first look a little boring, but that's not at all the case. When you look harder, you'll find they play host to some really cute little commensal species of shrimps and crabs that tag along for a free ride and a great place to hide. As you can see, they do know how to defend themselves though. Those cool variant tubules being projected from this specimen Mariella has found are quite ingenious. They'll adhere and entangle its attacker to the point at which they're completely immobilized and run the risk of never escaping. On top of that, there's also a toxin in them called heliothurin, a form of saponin, a very soap-like toxin, which blocks communication between nerves, which can create even more life-threatening implications for their predators. And that same toxin, heliothurin, is also being medically researched for aiding in potential weight loss and anti-aging, which I found pretty awesome. Don't be frightened by the idea of handling them though. You'd have to ingest all that muck to be harmed by that toxin. So don't be shy. Next time you find one on the reef, be sure to take a closer look. It's well worth it. But lastly, heed my warning. Do not get that sticky muck on your skin or clothing. It is so exceptionally hard to get off.
Nice.
Really pretty cushion star here. These get 3-4 times the size, you know, they get this big. It's just a really nice colour combination. And just a beautiful mosaic pattern.
Beautiful.
These are actually a good species to find other commensal species. They'll quite often have little shrimp running down these lines. That'll be tiny little blue shrimp, or the colour of the particular animal that you're looking at. And sometimes there's crabs that cling on to the bottom and all sorts of other worms and things. So always good to check the underside for other things as well. These lines are where the little tentacle feelers will come out, and all those tentacles will feed particles back to the central mouth here to feed. Here's some wanting to come out here.
Oh, yeah.
Just testing, just trying to establish where they are and what's going on. He's a bit confused. Alright, so we've just obviously lifted up this chunk of coral to find this deadly cone shell here. So this is incredibly toxic species of cone shell in Australia. Now you can see the foot's coming back out here.
Oh,
But
yeah.
see this black with the...
Yeah.
That's the little proboscis from which the poison harpoon comes out of. And it's incredibly flexible. This is a nocturnal species of snail that crawls around the tidal flats. When it finds fish asleep at night, it hones in on their scent trail, and when it finds a sleeping fish, it harpoons it, and then that
Paralyzes it or?
absolutely instantaneously just knocks it out. It just does a big rhythmic spasm and it's done. It's like,
Does it come only further out? Or can it come?
No, it can come out probably an inch out of its body.
Okay.
It's obviously all tucked itself in because we're interfering with it.
Oh,
But
yeah.
that then opens right up like a proper big mouth
Yeah.
and just engulfs the whole fish. It's an amazingly flexible structure.
Yeah, I saw in a doco they can
Yeah.
eat quite a big.
Oh, fish twice their size pretty much. Yeah, but this is the deadly cone shell. An absolute beauty of a specimen. Alrighty, beautiful people. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. I think we've had a pretty good day's adventure together. A few little teasers though for the next part, just to get you enticed. And of course, be sure to come explore, be more, and see more with Brother Nature. Thanks guys. See you on the next one.